So today's topic really is about emergency management and emergency preparedness, including the conversation of the week, which is really about North Korea. With me today, I have the administrator of the Hawaii Emergency Management Office, Vern Miyagi. Vern, how are things?
Well, we've been very busy. Although we look at the North Korean thing over the last week, we just have to keep in mind the alphabets G, H, and I, which is Greg, Hillary, and Irwin, which are three storms that are still between us and Baja California. So
Yes.
we are in the middle of hurricane season, so keep that in mind, please.
We have a question from Wallace Nishimura. If North Korea sends a bomb, do we have a bomb to send back?
I think that's a very, very good question. My job right now, I am not in the military. Although retired, I'm not in the military right now. I would defer to the active duty military on that question. But
Yes, and I would say that, I've had conversations
Okay.
with Admiral Harris at PACOM, and we, as you know, we are working with the Department of Defense to assure the defense of Hawaii in general. And so there are definitely a lot of conversations. We are assessing what the specific defense posture of Hawaii, and as you know, there are many assets here in Hawaii that the Department of Defense is interested in protecting. And so, I think what the response would definitely be determined by the President of the United States. There is the possibility of a missile or bomb from North Korea is very, very low. It's a very unlikely event. Our whole focus is to make sure that we're prepared, that we've had the conversation, and we are aware of the things that we need to do in order to help our community move beyond an event, whether it should be a hurricane, an earthquake, or other activities. Just wanted to say hi to Sim and Dustin. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. Hi, Kellen. I just will read. Aside from a supply kit for a hurricane, oops, sorry, it scrolled down. What else would be necessary for an attack from North Korea? Just an AM/FM radio. So what else goes into the preparedness kit?
Okay, what I would suggest is that the 14-day kit pretty much stands, but the FM AM radio is very important because the procedures that we are putting together right now is really to shelter in place. So that's the terms that we are using right now is get inside, and stay tuned. So the primary thing, because the timeline is so short, is to find a substantial building, such as a concrete building, reinforced building, or even parking garages, concrete underground parking garages as an idea. But you should keep your kit with you, suggested, for example, within your vehicle or some close area, even your working place, your home, and so on. And the idea is the 14-day kit is what we would recommend at this point in time. As we indicated earlier, is that we're studying, working on more definition as far as what a nuclear event would take. But right now, that's what we stand for. If you can stand out for 14 days, that'll be good.
Okay, and it really is about moving indoors. A concrete building, or the stronger the building, it's better. Obviously, the time frame from a missile launch to impact is.
It's going to be about less than 20 minutes. From the time of flight time is about 20 minutes. By the time we get firm notification from the PACOM or the other military authorities, it will take about 5 minutes or so. So at that time, we're trying to get the word out to the public to shelter in place. And the idea is to already know where you're going to go. If you're working downtown in a building, that's where you need to stay, in the center of the building, down to the basement, like we said earlier. But where you're going to go. You won't have time to pick up your family, your kids, try to find a shelter. Automatically, you should know where you're going to go, and your wife should know where she's going to go, and your kids should know what's going to happen.
We did have received a question from Brian. Why is the test in November and not now? I'm not exactly certain what test he's referring to.
Oh, the sirens.
Oh,
Sirens.
okay, the sirens.
Okay. The test that he's referring to is the projected second siren tone. This is the attack alert tone that we've not used for many, many, many years since the Cold War went down. It's a wavering tone. It differs from the steady tone that we use currently for the hurricane or tsunami warnings. So this is a new tone. We're looking at November. However, we need to do a good public outreach campaign so people know what to expect, and this will not scare anybody when we test it for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, thanks very much for that question, Brian. So I guess the whole focus is that, there is, an attack from North Korea is unlikely today. We are preparing the sirens and making sure that everybody understands that there will be a change,
Yes.
so that you can differentiate what the potential threat would be.
Right. Can I add one thing is that I've been asked, why now, which is one of the basic questions, why we're coming up with this now. It's just that they've been testing and testing and testing, and although the chances of this happening is remote, the probability is very low and unlikely, we just need to get ahead of it and answer the question, what is Hawaii doing?
Right.
And what we're doing is just informing the public, making them understand what to expect and what to do. That's all we're doing.
Right.
The threat is low. Hawaii is safe.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, I did receive many questions starting 3 or 4 months ago, and so I did ask Hawaii Emergency Management as an agency to at least do an assessment of where we are, and we did discover that the emergency preparedness plans hadn't been updated specifically for a nuclear threat. And so we thought that it would be best to be prepared to revisit the plans and make sure that we could incorporate. Yes. We had a question from Wendy Osher. Vern, can you please explain the potential impacts for neighbor island communities? Also, how wide an impact area are we looking at?
Right now, if you look at the old plans, the impact area targeting, or we're looking at Oahu as a primary area. Of course, this makes assumptions because at this point in time, we have no idea what North Korea's targeting capabilities are. So as far as the neighbor islands, in the old plans, they were also included with respect to what to do, where to go, and when to do it. So they will be included again with these plans. For the neighbor islands, we were working directly with the county civil defense administrators, so all of the neighbor islands' concerns will be considered within our current operation plans.
So there will be specific suggestions in the new plan that deals with what might happen on neighbor islands.
That's correct. But again, in the past and what we're looking at right now, the focus primarily right now is on Oahu.